Hi, welcome to the Stitch TV show. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Pam. We're happy you're joining us today at the East Cobb Quilters Guild Georgia Celebrates Quilt Show and Market.
Woohoo! The Stitch is an online quilt talk show where we talk about our current topics, things we like in quilting, the world, the quilting world, techniques to improve your own projects, and fun stuff about our quilts.
Really?
Our episodes come out twice a month, complemented by Virtual Stitch-Ins podcast, and you can learn more about us at thestitchtvshow.com.
Our show today is brought to you by Ink & Arrow Fabrics, a division of QTFabrics, and we'll be looking at some of their gorgeous, fabrics?
Fabrics.
In just a bit.
Yes. So, today we're going to answer questions from our viewers and also do another round of how should I quilt this?
So, hey, Lynn, what's up?
We're doing a quilt show! Not just like our YouTube show. We're doing like a big quilt show that we worked on for like 2 years.
With quilts for more than just us.
Volunteers. Like chairman in charge of things and like renting out big civic centers. And
how's it going? Is it going great?
You know what? Aside from the opening preview party that I really messed up at.
You didn't do that.
Oh, well, it was kind of crazy. You know,
hey,
audio equipment can be crazy.
We went low tech and we opened the door.
Yeah, there you go.
And that fixed the problem.
And
it
people
fixed the
came
AC,
in.
It fixed the sound.
Yeah.
We just opened the door.
Yeah. So our mic didn't work at the opening preview party, so.
Not the mic that helps with our sound here, a different mic.
A different mic.
Not as good a mic.
Yes, not as good a mic. So I honest to God, like I woke up the next day and I'm like, I think I told the audience they were naked. I'm not real sure.
You talked about me a lot from when I like went and eavesdropped.
I did. I was like, hey, there's Pam, hey. You know, it was like crazy. So they kept standing in the back going, stretch, stretch. I'm like, really? So I think it was just 20 minutes of me talking about, thanks for entering your quilts, and it's going to be a great show. And so, but
you talked about how when you say the word sew, S-E-W, instead of the word S-O, that I say it sounds like you're a valley girl. Like,
yes.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, yeah, that was it. So, but the show is going great. I mean, it's a big project, and there's a lot of people involved, and, you know, I'm glad. I mean, we're here. It's taken a long time. I mean, we spent a long time talking about this.
Yeah, we did.
To get here. So now we're here, and we're filming live at the East Cobb Quilt Show.
Unlike the other times when we're undead and we film in her basement.
We don't.
Right.
So, anyway, so it's going well. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So, our first segment.
Our first segment is
how would you quilt this?
How would you quilt this?
Some of these are mine.
I have not seen these. Like, you didn't show me.
Well, I did Instagram this one last night.
Oh, I didn't read that.
I know you did. I figured Lynn's not going to look at this.
Lynn went to bed as soon as she got home last night, so I've been here like hours. Okay, so how are we going to quilt this? Am I supposed to have pins?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
So this is kind of the classic.
Okay, wait, no, you need to tell me. Did you put this together last night?
I did.
She made this last night. Just pointing that out.
Yeah. Well, so the blocks are from a Saturday sampler program at a local quilt shop called Summertime Blues. And they, of course, provide a setting pattern that you can purchase the kit for. But I also knew that I had a lot of batiks already in my stash. So it's a 12-block program.
Right.
And I had seen a picture that someone else posted of a different sampler layout, and I was inspired by that. So I went to EQ7 and fiddled with some stuff and came up with this and was able to use fabrics from my stash to do the layout. But the classic problem of, I made a sampler quilt, now what do I do? Do I have to quilt each block individually, Lynn? Please say no.
Yeah, well. No, Pam, you don't, because it'll make you feel better. But I would.
What would you do?
Well, because you've got all these cool designs. I mean, you could do some neat stuff in each block to make them different, and then do a background filler in all the negative space. That way it's not total custom, but it's got a little custom to it. You know what I'm saying? So I would do like this different, then I do this and this and this. And then the background filler, you know, maybe just do big loops in here.
Like big L's?
Yeah. The big, you know, E and L loops kind of thing.
Yeah,
then
my
I would do
default
that.
when I get to blocks like this is just to do like an orange peel.
Don't look, hey, that can be very successful.
Yeah.
It's totally, but like pick ones I mean, if you're gonna do that or make it easy on yourself, like do an orange peel on every other one and then do something on, you know, different on another one. That way it's not too complicated custom. What did we call it? What did I call it? Achievable custom. Achievable custom. Because she keeps telling me it's achievable quilting. I'm like, well, yeah, but I
Just
I
because
like
you
custom
did it
quilts.
and you entered a whole cloth quilt that, by the way, won Quilter's Choice.
It was very, I was blessed. I have good friends that voted for me. Actually, I had no idea. You know, here's what happened. So they come in, or they say, Lynn, we've got a problem. So I go into the room, and they're like, here's the problem. There's a tie
I
for
wondered about
Quilter's
that.
Choice. And I said, oh, well, we've got 2 ribbons, right? And they said, yes. But one of the quilts is a 2-person quilt. And I said, and then they looked really sad. They were like, do we have to make another ribbon? I said, no. I said, no, just put a ribbon on each one. And they said, okay, go put the ribbons on them. I'm like, what, quilt one? And then they went, yours. I went, oh. I thought, so they made me make a decision to give myself a ribbon before I knew.
Yes.
So it was very sneaky. I have sneaky chairman. So, yeah. Anyway, but I think achievable custom quilting.
Okay. Thread color. Hit me.
Oh,
Not literally.
You know I would change thread color 3 times.
You would put orange in this blue spot so it would show up.
That's an option, yes. But you don't have orange in the quilt, so it probably wouldn't be my first choice.
Yeah.
But green would look awesome
know.
there. Like this neon green would look awesome on the blue.
I got some of that.
I would almost do white in the background because
Yeah.
it's going to keep that soft look. And then I would do a blue. So I would do green, blue, and white. But I like lots of colors.
No, but it's easy enough to jump from one white area to the
Yes.
next. That's not a problem.
Yes.
Because I'm on a domestic.
Yes. And I would do a nice background filler in all the
And
white.
just do stars.
Yeah, that would be great because there's stars in this. Yeah, that would be totally easy and great.
Huzzah.
Huzzah!
One down.
One down.
I'm going to go home and do that after we're done with takedown tonight. So when I get home at 10:30.
She'll have a quilt done by Sunday. It'll be
maybe
great.
not.
It'll be crazy.
Okay, this is from
All
a
right,
viewer.
I have not seen this, so.
Is there a right side up?
I don't remember. Let me see how you have it.
It's right side up,
I think turn it the other way.
like
That
here.
way?
No, one more.
One more.
Dun, dun.
Done to that. Okay.
It's kind of reversible.
It's already 3
I
pins.
know. I got stuck after I basted it.
Okay. So this is from Holly Ann.
Ooh, Holly
She
Ann,
is
she's one
active
of our
on the
viewers.
stitch-ins and comments. And
Yes, she's one of our viewers. Ooh, I like this.
Okay. So how would you, do you want me to go first?
Go first.
Okay.
I'm watching we're gonna say the same thing.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So what I would do, I would keep it achievable.
Achievable quilting.
Achievable quilting. And there's lots of texture in here. So there's little cross-hatchy things, and there's some ziggity-zags and some swirly dots, dashes. I would travel in the dark areas and kind of keep that path on the quilt. And I would pick a fun colored thread so it shows up.
Yeah.
Like red is kind of classic to put with black and white.
Right, yeah.
You know,
You could do a
be
variegated.
classic.
Variegated
Ooh,
may be too
variegated.
busy, maybe. Depends on the
maybe.
variegated.
yeah, I wouldn't go like rainbow variegated. That
Yeah, it may be crazy.
that's a lot of look, as Tim Gunn would say.
But no, I totally would create paths for you to follow.
Yes.
So that's different than what I would quilt in the white. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that
the
you're
white's
getting
kind
a
of
different,
isolated.
you're gonna give yourself different texture, you're gonna give yourself a different look, and you're gonna give your eye a path to follow that would give you a design element aside from just the piecing itself. Which that's my thing. If you give yourself a design element on top of your piecing, I think it adds more visual interest to the
Yes.
quilt. So, and creating a path. Now, I don't know that since this is all matchstick, one of the really successful quilts out there is just straight lined with the little wave in it. So I don't know that I wouldn't just do straight line with a little wave. Straight line with a little wave.
And you can do that with a walking foot.
And totally do it with a walking foot, yeah. And if this is a showpiece or this is wall hanging, get it close. 1/8 inch apart. And it'd be really cool if you did, it'd be really
A lot of
cool.
quilt.
you know, 1/4 inch, I mean, almost matchstick. But it'd be really cool if you did the path and then just use the color thread in one, you know, every 5 threads. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just pull the red in the middle and then do black. And then, do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Just that hint. There's a great example out there of a flying geese quilt that has straight line quilting across it, and every once in a while she put a red thread in, and it just sings. Yeah, it'd be really cool. I like it.
And you could be sneaky. So because the white is kind of isolated here, there's no direct path to it. You could take your white thread and then travel in the ditch to the next area and take your little black Figma pen or a gel roller and just color that in.
This is how you cheat.
Nobody's gonna know.
Nobody's gonna know.
Except now they watch the YouTubes and they're totally
If they watch the YouTubes, they may know.
They may know.
But we've done that before.
Yes, in show quilts
Yes.
that have won ribbons.
That people didn't see. And not that we're telling people to do that. But I've done it. So, I like it. Thanks, Holly Ann.
Thank you.
All right. All right, next. Ho-ho, here is our 10th pattern.
Oh, right. This is a new pattern. Am I quilting this or are you quilting
No, I'm
it?
quilting this.
Oh,
Mine.
Get to quilt.
Okay, so this is Emilio.
Emilio, as in Emilio Estevez.
As in Emilio Pucci.
Oh. I thought we were doing an 80s thing.
Well, yes, that inspired the playlist. Along with
Do you need another pin?
a lot of fashion-y kind of movies. Yes, please. So, the fabric is the Paloma line from Ink and Arrow Fabrics.
Which I love. It's a great line.
You might notice we love it because it's teal and orange. And so when I looked at the fabric lines called Paloma, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Is that a horse? No. That's Palomino. No. Thank you, Google.
So Googles know everything.
They do.
Yes.
So I started looking more at the names of the actual fabrics in there. And there was one called Pucci. And I'm like, hey, I know that guy. Like, not like I know Lynn or I know Ray, but
Like you've heard of him randomly.
I've seen some
throughout
Project
his-
Runway. I know who Pucci is. And so
Okay.
then I fell down a Google hole of looking at Emilio Pucci designs. And they're all very kind of graphic, and there's some really gorgeous gowns because he's known
wow.
for graphic prints
Okay.
that had a lot of symmetry from the center of the body that helped
okay.
emphasize the female form.
Okay.
And then I thought I could work with that. And I could work with that and only use 2 different types of blocks, half square triangles and 4 patches. So the quilt is 2 blocks, technically 3 if you just count a big square as a block, which is nice.
It counts.
It counts.
In modern,
so
it counts.
it's this kind of big square right here, and this is a print fabric, so you can't really tell. It's just a big old square. And then there's this block, which is half square triangles and 4 patches. And then there is a smaller version. So this is a 4 patch, and the other one's a 9 patch, and it's all half square triangles and 4 patches.
Oh, cool.
And then
Super simple to do.
super simple to do, set on point,
Right.
which y'all know is not my favorite, but it's not that crazy big. Just because
Why is it? No, explain to him why it's not your favorite, because it cracks me up.
Because I have a design floor instead of a design wall, and I also have 3 cats and a dog and 2 children, and my design floor tends to get all kajumbled.
How does it not get kajumbled with the regular layout?
Because in the regular layout, I can do my magic like block
Oh,
kind of
you're
placement
right.
thing and get them
Well,
all
you
in one
just have
step.
to do it sideways this way. Okay.
Girl,
Sorry. Okay.
bless your heart.
I know, bless my heart. So how do you want to quilt this? How are you planning to quilt this, and what am I
don't
going
know.
to tell you?
I don't know.
So you designed the top and you don't have a quilting plan?
So I also made a smaller version. So this is like the full size. It's about 69 inches square.
But there's a lot of extra space
There
over
is.
here.
There's like 17 inches of space over here.
That's very modern.
It's very modern. So there's a baby size. It's about 51 inches. And I did that one in all blacks, whites, and grays.
Right.
So it's a little more of a
I've
grading.
seen the picture. It looks
Yes.
great.
And I started quilting that one, but I used a solid fabric in the big squares. So I'm like, ooh, time to show off some quilting.
Yes, definitely. Show
And
us
then I
some
decided to
quilting.
use colored thread, like a maroon, because now it all shows up.
Love the colored thread. All right.
So anyway, so with this one, I'm not going to do what I did there because an intricate design would get lost in this.
Okay. All right.
So you go, how would you quilt this? And then I might go and do that.
I would, because to me, you have very strong lines with the green.
Yes, as was the point.
As was the point. And you have, these are not as strong because the pattern's so dense and it blends, you know.
Yes.
But I would treat these areas with some more intense quilting so that these are, and then these do a background filler on. Like these be more designed, you know, and then keep that in my strong lines and then do a background filler with the rest of it.
Yeah, so the nice thing with this fabric line, there's a lot of detail in terms of shape.
That would be cool. You
So,
could
like,
copy the detail.
It's almost McTavishy, like Karen McTavish,
Yeah.
but maybe not as dense.
You
And
could
then
do
there's some nice
McTavishing
swirls.
over here. That'd be great.
Yeah, or like just big flowers.
You could do big flowers in here. McTavish this part.
Thread color,
Orange, green, teal.
orange, shocking.
Orange, green, teal.
Shocking.
I know. She's gonna kill me because I always make her change thread colors.
No, it's okay. No, but it's
But
easy because
if you did teal on the whole thing, you're gonna lose that
Yeah.
green line, I think.
so for me it's easy on a domestic. I can just do all the orange, top to bottom, and I'm good. So if you were loading this on a long arm, you'd load it so this part was here and you'd work that way.
I totally would. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Totally.
you'd only have to change color
Yeah.
once you got to the end. You wouldn't have to do it in the middle of the quilt.
Right. Unlike the last quilt I did where I was changing color every time I moved the thing. 3 times.
It's nice.
Because it was silly.
You did that to yourself.
I know, I did. And I took the quilt off like 6 hours before I had to turn it in. And I still had to do the sleeve and the whatever. It's crazy. So anyway,
Okay.
I love this. This is a nice pattern.
Isn't it though?
Yes.
I'm fond of it. It will be for sale by the time this episode goes up.
Oh, yay. Okay, cool.
Okay.
And quilted by then too.
And quilted and finished by then too.
Yes. All right. So that's
Now, now we're ready for viewer questions.
viewer
So
questions.
we had some submitted online, and if we have
Okay.
time, we will also take some from the audience. So cue some up.
All right. So we're taking a
You,
break
Kathleen.
while we're queuing them up.
Okay.
So question number 1 from Vicky. How long have we been quilters? I started technically in 2000, so 17 years.
Were we not born quilters? We just didn't express it through fabric and thread.
I had a lot of detours through Michael's. Let's try this. Okay, let's try this at Michael's. Let's try that. Could we buy another marker set? I'm kind of addicted to pens and markers. Mike doesn't allow me to shop that aisle anymore. Just saying.
1999, I win.
You're like Prince Quilter.
Prince quilter.
You know, Prince, Party Likes 1999. I'm the only one who knows that song.
Is that on our playlist?
It is on our playlist
Well,
out
then
there.
yes, ma'am. All right.
Okay, question number 2.
This one's for me. Okay, so Vicky asked me, 1980s hair bands. For me, is it Bon Jovi, Poison, Def Leppard, or Skid Row? And maybe I was more into pop. And for the record, all the Milli Vanilli on the playlist out there is totally from me. Because I do blame it on the rain.
Not that we complain about the weather.
Not that we, well, Francis doesn't complain about the weather. I complain about the weather. It is freaking hot. We are in Georgia in the summer. It is hot.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad that's your question because I can't answer it.
And I would have to say Guns N' Roses and Milli Vanilli and Neil Diamond.
You missed that we did Neil Diamond yesterday, Sweet Caroline.
I heard a lot of it.
And then I was walking down the aisle going,
It's always in my soul.
bah. And people were doing it with me. It was great fun.
Yeah. Oh, did we put YMCA on the playlist?
Yes, it's totally on the playlist.
Sweet.
All right, this from Jane. Have either one of you had success with the binding tool attachment to your sewing machine? Also, what width of binding do you use? I did buy a binding tool I know you're going to be shocked.
I bought a gadget.
I bought a gadget. I did buy a binding tool attachment from a company.
That made your sewing
And-
machine.
No,
No,
from
they
a
did not.
different company that
Third
made
party, non-OEM
third party,
binding
yes, a
attachment.
binding attachment. And I find I just do better by myself
So I
without
also,
special tools.
I also purchased one from the company that made my machine, but what I found was the way that it attached, it made it like bias tape.
Yes, that
And then, so,
Right.
you know, both sides.
Mine made it like bias tape too.
But what that left you with only a single layer of fabric on the very edge, which is where all the wear gets, and it did not hold up.
Well, and I will tell you that from a quilt appraiser standpoint, that is one of the weaker aspects when you look at old quilts. The binding, if they use a single layer, it wears. And
So yes, we have.
will make the value of the quilt less because of the binding.
So yes, we both bought them. Neither of us used them. And with the binding, I used 2 1/8 inch.
2 1/4. I need help. I need that extra 1/8 of an inch, apparently. 2 1/4. So I was
Okay.
2 1/4. Okay, so the next question.
Next question from Anne. How do we baste a full-size quilt? Because on a recent podcast, I said I had basted 3 quilts over one weekend. And Anne has a difficult time with that step. So Lynn doesn't baste because she's got a long arm.
Don't baste, Jack.
So I baste, like first step, and I think I've talked about this. I lay the quilt out on my floor, and how big the quilt is determines where I lay that out. So if it's couch sized, like this one could fit in what is technically the breakfast room / the toy room / the room where my Sweet 16 is. And I tape it down, and then I shoo all the cats off, and then I put some more tape on it, and then I shoo the cats off, and then I take time to yell at the dog for chasing the cats back onto the thing. So I do mine on the floor, and I pin baste. It's not my favorite method. I am still young enough to be able to get up and down from the floor relatively easily. I can see a time in the future when that will not be the case. I admire the method that Sharon Chamber teaches, where you roll everything up on 2x4 boards and then you just sit at the table and herringbone baste it with thread. But I also know I don't have the patience to do the thread basting.
There is a
but you can still do pin basting, and there's wall basting.
Well, there's wall basting, but there's also a technique where you can take an 8-foot table and tape it down to an 8-foot table and pin baste, and then move and tape it down to an 8-foot table and pin baste and move.
Yes.
I don't do it because I put it on the long arm and
Yeah.
just sew it down.
Yeah, about the
So-
biggest that I can baste at home is probably a double
Yeah.
quilt.
Well,
and that's in the kitchen, and that means I have to like move the dog food and sweep up the dog food and move the laundry baskets and
Yeah. But there is a method where you could do it on
Yeah.
the table. I know.
yeah. So I have youngish knees still, so I'm floor.
Floor.
It's not my favorite.
All right. From Betsy, stitch regulator, yes or no?
Particularly for a sit-down machine.
Do you use yours?
I don't have a stitch regulator.
Oh, you don't have it on your
didn't-
machine?
I didn't pay extra for that.
I use a stitch regulator on the long arm.
Yeah. So Betsy's concern was, she's been practicing, but she's still not getting consistent stitch length.
Right.
And so what I find are the biggest impediments to that is when the quilt is hanging off the table in one way or the other.
Right.
And sometimes you can't really prevent that because you're limited by how big a table you got.
Space, yeah.
But one of the things I did back in the days when I was quilting a king-size quilt on my Singer domestic with the little 7-inch throat, which was bananas, and I put the card table next to my...
That's like a nightmare right there. That's just like, oh my gosh.
No, but I put the card table next to my regular sewing table, and it was too short, so then I got some cans of corn and some beans, and I brought it up to the right height.
Because mother's the necessity of invention.
Yes.
Or something
And
like that.
then,
I
so...
think that's wrong. Go ahead.
Shortage of fabric is the motherhood of invention.
Okay.
Yeah, I discovered that last night when I was putting that blue quilt together. Like, ooh, I don't have enough fabric. So yes, use some canned vegetables that then I later had to take down because we were doing Thanksgiving dinner a few days later. Thank goodness I'd finished the quilt by then. But what I had done, because we've got a fair amount of scrap wood in my basement. Don't ask.
I know.
We got the thing.
Okay.
It's the thing. Anyway, so I took, it was a piece of plywood about yay tall by about yay long, and I got my trusty screw gun out because I got an 8th grade excellence award in shop class. I'm not afraid to use it. And I had some 1x2 furring strips, so I screwed that together, so I had this little lip on it. And then what I did was get some wood clamps and just clamp that to the edge of the table. So although my table was not king-sized, having that little barrier at the edge kind of kept the quilt from falling off, which really helped preventing that drag thing. Because when it's hanging off the edge, you kind of want to tug it to get it to move, and that's
Which
when you get
omits
the
the
really shorter
stitch
stitch.
length.
So the big thing is to make sure your quilt can slide. So you could use fun things like, I don't know, Tyvek envelopes from the U.S. Postal Service in non-official ways to make the surface slipperier.
Probably shouldn't recommend that, non-official ways.
Please do not deface government property.
Right, exactly.
But just troll the aisles of Home Depot for ideas.
Yeah. And I will say that honestly, even though I do use a stitch regulator, you can outrun them.
Yeah.
So you can move the machine faster than that stitch regulator will keep up with you. So slow down, take your time. You know, you find your groove and start with smaller pieces if you're doing domestic. You know, to find that normal where you want the machine set and how fast you're sewing. I think it helps if you've got one of those sewing machine on domestics. I think
With the little slider
with the
thingy for the
slider
speed.
for the speed.
Set it at
So
the
you-
lowest.
Yeah, set it at the lowest and then know where your groove is to get that stitch to be where you want it.
And
So-
if you need help keeping in a groove, find a playlist.
Exactly.
Go to Amazon
That's what I was
Prime,
thinking.
go to Spotify, and look for beats per minute. So playlists that have consistent beats per minute. So for me, it's like fast pop music.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe
and
a little
then,
Kesha.
And then you're thinking on that same, so you're moving
Yes.
it to that rhythm, and it keeps you with what the sewing machine's going to what you're going.
Yes.
So, and that's probably one of the reasons I listen to music a lot when I'm, quilting the long arm. Because if I go too fast, I can outrun it.
Yeah.
And then my stitches look jacked up. So even though you have a stitch regulator, it doesn't solve all those problems. You gotta practice. Practice, 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 practice. Okay, so next question
From Carol.
from Carol. Where, in terms of being in the quilt business, would you like to be in 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years? Okay. My husband asks me at breakfast every Monday, what are you going to do today? And I always answer,
Same thing we do every
Same thing we
day.
do every day. Try and take over the world.
Little Pinky in the Brain reference.
Yeah, if you're an Animaniacs fan, that's what it is. So
In 1 year.
in 1 year,
We would like to have
have-
our patterns in wholesale distributors.
Right,
Be in more
yes.
than one physical quilt shop.
right. In 5 years, we want to be national teachers, and 10 years, definitely national teachers with a recognizable brand beyond our local area. Like totally recognizable. Like, oh my God, that's Pam. That's it. So yeah, I think. I mean, we want to be doing this for, a foreseeable future.
Yes.
Whether it's writing patterns, teaching, talking to guilds, designing stuff.
Talking to the nice people in the computer.
Yes,
Making
exactly.
eye contact with the people in the room.
I don't want to give up the stitch. I love the stitch. Right?
Yeah.
I love the stitch.
Although sometimes we feel like, oh gosh, we're running out of topics. No, we can
No.
still get in the car and talk about quilts for 45 minutes straight and on the way to a meeting.
It's crazy.
All right, question from Jennifer. Is it worthwhile to buy triangle on a roll? And she's making a half square triangle quilt. So if you're not familiar, triangle on a roll is kind of this paper-based product. So it's paper piecing for triangles. It comes rolled up. They are on point with their branding.
Yes. Triangle on a roll. That's one of the ones you could buy. When I was learning how to make triangles, that's where I started. Was triangles on a roll. Fangles is also a
Yeah, it's another
company
brand.
that does that. But I actually got to where I use this company called Triangulations, where I can print my own sizes. So it's a computer disk that has PDFs of all the different half square triangles and quarter square triangles. And that way I never run out. So triangle on a roll is great if you're looking for one size, but Triangulations allows me to do, if I need 2.5 and then I need 4.5 and then I have to buy all those rolls. So they're great products, so all of them are.
So the benefit of that versus if you want very accurate.
Accurate?
I would like some accurate quilting. If you want more accurate half square triangles, because I'm kind of the sort of like, yeah, I could steam that out. That'll quilt out. It'd be fine. Make those points match. Lots of times you can just make your blocks oversized, because in theory, to be, If you want
Right.
a 3-inch finished, you're cutting a 3
3
and
and
7/8 square, and you're marking on the diagonal, and then you're stitching on
Yeah,
a 1/4
and
inch
then you're
either
trimming
side.
down.
Then you're trimming it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like trimming.
But will you trim on triangle and
right,
roll
but you're
and
not.
on
You're not
bangles
really. You're
and-
doing like a rough cut.
Yeah,
for what's
true.
going against the paper, and then you're trimming, as opposed
Yeah.
to cut it oversized, sew it, and then trim
Well,
it.
and I think the benefit for triangle and roll, angles, and triangulations is, I mean, it really introduces you to paper piecing.
Yes.
So, I mean, if paper piecing is a goal, it's definitely the beginner step into getting into paper piecing.
Yes, without the anxiety of, oh, I have this weird piece of
Right.
fabric, will it cover this
Yeah.
bit? Oh, shoot, it didn't. Now I
Because you're sewing backwards and you're sewing upside
heels.
down and in heels. You should always wear heels when you're doing paper piecing.
It's
so-
the Ginger Rogers of quilting.
Exactly. Okay, so from Nani, any ideas on how to motivate quilters to participate more in the
I
guilds?
put this one last, because,
That's hard.
yeah.
Bribery.
So we
Bribery.
needed a lot of volunteers to make this show happen.
You know what? This show doesn't happen without volunteers.
Yeah.
I mean, honest to God, I just kind of watched everything roll, and it's volunteers do all the work. All the work.
And I think we've seen this in our guild too when it comes to participating in the challenge that we do.
Right.
You know, here's your inspiration for the quilt challenge for the
Yeah.
year, or hey, we're going to do a swap, or bring a fat quarter so we can do the pass around game for the holiday party.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Make it fun. I mean, this is a hobby. Make people want to be involved. You know, have fun with it. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
I want to be involved with fun people and do fun things. Quilting's fun for me. As long as it doesn't become a chore, then I'm good. Except
that's
for when I
Lynn
complain
code
to
for stop giving me stuff to do, Pam.
I do have a spreadsheet.
You do.
No.
And a list.
And a list. Lots of
You'll see the
lists.
list tomorrow.
So anyway. All right.
So yeah, it's low pressure. Like, I will joke about making angry eyebrows at people. Okay.
She didn't joke with me. Like, I always get them.
She just gets them
So-
straight. I don't joke. But, you know, intimidation doesn't work. Desperation does not work, because you can smell that.
Begging works. Begging.
Every once
like
in a while,
I
begging
begged.
works.
Like I begged. Like
I-
on knees, please. No.
I find, so it depends on what it's for, but accountability is a big thing. I discovered this as a 5th grade room mom. This past year, thank goodness that little stint's done. But when we had things of, oh, everyone contribute to a teacher gift, just send in your money to my care, any amount's fine. One person contributed.
I think if you give really
When I
specific,
did-
like this is what I need you to do.
No, when I did a sign up genius of, we need these items for the class
Yeah.
party, and other people were accountable, and other parents could go and see that you were the slacker that didn't sign up, that worked. And I told the teacher, I'm like, hey, tell your next room mom, get these people accountable. And she's like, that's so funny. I'm
No,
like,
I
that is
think
human
it's true.
nature.
I think it's true.
So depending on what you're looking for,
Right.
having
Think
that
it's
public
fun.
accountability definitely helps. But yeah, mostly it has to be fun.
has
People
to
are
be
coming
fun.
to Guild because they want to hang around other quilters. and
People
have
are
fun.
coming to you. People are coming to the best presenters. I think at our guild that we see are the fun ones. The ones that this is the reason we're all doing this is because we enjoy doing it and we like hanging out with each other. So I think that's it.
Okay.
All right.
So we did get a couple questions that we're not going to answer here, but there were requests for tips for quilting on a domestic machine, which y'all know is my jam. And I'm going to surprise Lynn and say we may do an on-location remote shoot at my house, maybe without one of our production staff, because she'll die if she stays in my house more than 5 minutes because she's allergic to cats. And I'm not really keen on taking my machine out to the deck.
I like our production staff, so let's not
Yes.
kill her.
So we may just have you come to my house and like someone to help
Okay.
with the camera and the
Okay.
lighting and
All
film
right.
it on location.
We can
we'll
do
do that
that.
separate.
We can do that.
We can do that. So,
So-
any audience questions?
Oh, that's what we're doing now. Audience questions.
Anybody?
Any audience questions?
No? 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 Anybody?
No?
Where's the bathroom? It's out there to the
Bathroom's
left
over
and then
there.
the right.
Be sure to check out all the silent auction and Bajik and so.
I will keep this apron on when I walk off the stage, and I will be in the boutique over there selling the Christmas
There
ornaments.
you go. So no questions. We're good.
I think we're good.
All right. Glad
Wait,
we got them.
nope, that was a yawn.
That was yawn.
I won't take that personally.
Oh my God.
Okay, I have a question.
Oh,
Okay.
Do you get frustrated enough to throw a project in the wastebasket?
Yes.
And how many times has that happened?
they don't necessarily get thrown in the wastebasket as much as they just get put away. And you know what? Lyra Kennard was here not too long ago, and she gave herself permission to put projects away that she didn't have inspiration for so that she could come back to them. And like she was talking about some beautiful quilts that she had that took her 7 or 8 years to do because they were away for 5, you know, that she didn't stress about it. She just, because her life is busy or, you know, the needs of what, you know, her children had. She has 6 children?
A lot.
5 or 6 kids, and, you know, that fires were more important than whatever that project was. So, yeah, I think give yourself permission to put it away. And then when you do pull it out, are you still interested in that pattern, in that colorway, in that, and then take it to a yard sale for quilters and let someone else like love it. Because they may be, I mean, when I first started quilting, there was a quilt store here that was very traditional. I went and learned how to quilt from a very traditional set of patterns, that kind of stuff. I am not that person anymore. I'm not going to be that person anymore. So all these very traditional fabrics that I have either get put into my style of quilting or I'm donating to those who love them. So, you know, I think give yourself permission to walk away from a project.
I threw one in the trash. And it was a class I took because I wanted to learn the technique.
Oh, yeah.
But the end project, I was like, whoo, this is going to burn someone's eyeballs out. It is so bright. and I like bright stuff. But this was, to me, the amount of work, even for a small project, to turn it into something that I would find tolerable was not going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And it was smallish, so I didn't feel too bad about just giving that the old heap-ho. And lots of times when I have small things like that, I will go ahead and just finish it and then turn it into a mat for the cats to sit on. That'll cover up something that I actually don't want them to damage. But I've had a UFO. I didn't want to throw it away, but it wasn't that I didn't like it anymore. It was that I was intimidated by the thought of finishing it. Because at the time that I started it, and it's my one UFO, that I worked on this week, and I've been posting pictures of.
Yeah, you posted pictures of it.
And it's from another class that I took, and it's a very traditional colorway. It's muted, it's Civil War looking fabrics,
Yes,
but I still
yeah.
love it. I love this, and I love that style too. And I just thought, oh gosh, I can't do the kind of quilting on here I want to make this work. And so it hung in my powder room 4 years. This is the 4th year, and I finally had my machine set up to do some applique work, and I thought, well, let's go ahead and stitch down this applique that's been glued on there for 4 years. And then finally started working on it thinking, oh, you know, I think I could actually do the quilting justice now that I've had 4 more years of practice quilting. So that was another case of just kind of put it to the side. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a problem where I start projects that are way above my skill set and have to come back to them, you know? Like, I took a long arm quilting class that was way above my skill set when I first started long arm quilting. I would be better at that class today because I'm a better long arm quilter. So, but I think you just have to come back to that. So, anyway.
Speaking of UFOs.
Oh, yes. So, Ben, then Kay.
Okay. Speaking of UFOs, any tips on what to do with those projects that you do in the workshop and don't finish?
Make them into a pillow.
And then they're seasonal.
Yeah.
Here's what.
Then
Yeah.
they're seasonal.
Or
Then you
small
only have to look at them.
treasures,
Or
or small
donate them
treasures.
to a small
Yeah.
treasures auction like we have over here to the
Yeah.
right that you nice people in the computer can't see.
I heard this great story the other day that someone was really gung-ho and they wanted to start one of their Dear Jane quilts, which is a very intense piecing quilt. And so they did 3 blocks and said, well, that's my Dear Jane quilt, because that was it. They're like, and we're done.
It's a Dear Jane doorbell pull.
There you go. All right.
Kay, you had a question.
What is your style of fabric buying? Do you buy just fabrics to put in your stash, or do you buy fabrics for a specific project each time?
So what is our style of fabric purchasing? I will go first.
Okay. I don't have an answer yet.
So
you talk.
This year, my focus has shifted. For the past 4 or 5 years, my focus has been buy for the project only, don't buy for my stash, with the exception of, I know I will need backing, so when our local quilt shop has their Super Bolt sale, I will get bolts of fabric that I know I can use for backings. And that will be for the stash. Most other things, it is, I may be really in love with a line, and I might buy a fat quarter bundle, but that's pretty rare. I would say once a year I buy a fat quarter bundle, and then I'm like, holy moly, that's a lot of fabric. What do I do with that? But for the most part, I'm buying for the project. So a border, or, ooh, I need a black that's a little different. Now this year, because I use so much of my stash, I have brought down my stash numbers by about an average of 200 yards a year for the last 3 years. And now I'm at the point where it's like, ooh, there's some dregs bottom of the barrel with some of these things that like don't necessarily fit the kind of quilts I do now. So I have to figure out how to work those in. But I was at the point where I couldn't make the quilts I wanted to with what I had in my stash. So I have been giving myself permission and changing how I report my spreadsheet. So I don't report net used as of last week. I report just total used, because to me that's where we're at in terms of what we're doing with pattern design and business and how I buy fabric. So
I buy what I like.
yeah, there you go.
How much of it at a time?
If it could be a border, 3 yards. If I just like it, it's usually a yard. And, or if I'm looking for a very specific thing that I know, like when I was doing the castle wall block quilt, I was buying fat quarters because I knew they would be in that block, just in that block. But I buy what I like. I don't have a spreadsheet. I don't have a plan of how I'm going to buy fabric. I'll go to the store and go, ooh, I like that. That's how I buy it.
Literally, I've been with her. That's what she says.
Ooh, I like that. Though a lot of time, and this is my downfall. So like I'll go to the fabric store. I'll be like, ooh, I like that. And it goes with this, and this, so.
And I need to make 6 more tablecloths.
Yeah.
18 yards of fabric later.
Yeah, so.
Sorry, Mike. Surprise!
No, and I don't hide, and I know there are people that hide their stash coming in the house. Brazen. Let's go. Here's all I bought today. I don't play in that hide game. Nothing's hidden in my trunk. I'm bringing it all in. Well, people hide the fabric stash in their trunk, so.
Alrighty, so if you watching online have any more questions for us, like our favorite ice cream flavor or what our favorite novels are, let us know. You can leave a comment on our blog or on our YouTube episode. And that's all we have for today's episode. Today's show is made possible by Ink and Arrow Fabrics, because fabric should be fun. You can learn more about them and their fun fabrics at inkandarrowfabrics.com.
We would like to thank 77 Peaches, Big Think Productions, that helped produce The Stitch. And if you need more information, please go to our website, thestitchtvshow.com. And you can email us if you have any questions at info@thestitchtvshow.com.
So, if you've enjoyed the show, like it on YouTube, share your thoughts on this episode's topics on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and tag us with #TheStitchTVShow. The next virtual Stitch-In is Friday, July 14th, 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern. There may be cake because it's right after my birthday.
Yes.
You can watch it on YouTube and participate in the live chat. My podcast, Hip to Be a Square, will be out Fridays. iTunes, Google Play, and hiptobesquarepodcast.com.
And you can email us with any questions or comments at info@thestitchtvshow.com. or buy our patterns at shop.thestitchtvshow.com.
Including Emilio, which will be available.
Which will be out soon.
So all those details and more can be found
thestitchtvshow.com.
Tune in next time for more quilting chat with friends.
So thirsty.
And we're clear.
D for done.